Welcome to PrizePicks on 5 here on 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe because we've got tons of content all day long. Even today, we've got our pregame and postgame shows on the Dolphins and lots of Heat content that's going to be up there as well. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick on 5 Reasons Sports. We've got our guy right above, David Friedman. You can follow him at Taco Bout Sports. And then David Eversole, you can follow at David W. Eversole. We've got a Dolphins game today. This is exactly the reason why we tell you to play PrizePicks. Okay, this game is perfect, which is why we're going to focus on it exclusively today, even though, of course, you can go on and play all the other games. You can also play all the NBA games that are coming up later today or the NHL games. And, of course, the World Series is still going on. So you can do all of it, but we're focusing on Dolphins-Bills for this reason. Some games are just terrible. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, some teams are just terrible. The Dolphins are 31st right now in point differential. They've got no chance in this game today against Buffalo. And so you need to make it interesting. We're going to try to make it interesting for you. So use the code 5, that's FIVE at prizepicks.com, FIVE, and you'll get that bonus match. We have seen some of you have signed up but not deposited. You actually have to deposit to be able to make some money here. So throw down $20 and give it a shot. All right, let's get to it. Dolphins-Bills today. I feel like we're all kind of on the same wavelength on this one, but we decided to pick different players. I'll start with Eversole here at the top.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this Dolphins secondary. Obviously, they're a 2-touchdown underdog at Buffalo. I think it's going to be a tough game for them, but I think it's going to be a little more competitive than a lot of people just because they're AFC East rivals and Buffalo's really been stomping Miami. I think they got to kind of have a prideful game, but that being said, Emmanuel Sanders seems like a lock at 51.5 receiving yards. He smashed that in every game this year, pretty much the last 4. So, and he was right on the edge in the other game. So he's been a consistent, he's a high floor guy, and I think he'll have plenty of opportunities today. So I'm going to take Sanders over 51.5 receiving yards.
All right, Friedman, are you going to play the other side of this thing?
First of all, you're talking about the Dolphins, how terrible they are, and it's like I'm like, that's my quarterback, man. But like my team, you know. Yeah,
I know, but I mean, this is a reality show.
I'm still wearing the throwback.
That's the
thing. I know. Look, I actually like your pick today, Ethan. But I'll branch off of that, and I'll go Waddle over on receiving yards. So it was like 54.5 or something like that. I would have taken receptions if that was on the board. It's not. I think sort of like what Dave's saying, it's a pride factor sort of, but like, I think like there's a lot of stuff on the line today that we're not talking about for coaches, people in the organization that if they, after all this stuff with Watson going on and they go out and they get crushed again, like Baltimore crushed, like this is not going well. So I could see like Waddle getting fed a lot. I mean, they have to do the most with what they have right now, right? So it's sort of all in. I think Waddle, maybe he'll get his first 100 yards today. Maybe Parker comes back and that happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I know you like my pick, and it's the same wavelength here. I think that they have to basically try to show that they've made good decisions here the past couple of years, which is why I like Waddle, but is also why I like Tua. Today, and I like Tua for a lot of reasons because I just think he's tough-minded as hell, and I feel like he's the one guy who's conducted himself correctly during this bleep show, and so I also think they're going to fall behind, and so you look at the passing yard total of 230.5. I think he hits that fairly easily today. I really do. I mean, where else are they going to go to? The running game up there? No. And so, to me, it may not always look pretty. There may be a couple of picks as he forces the action. We saw him kind of do that for the first time last week. Like he forced the action, even as efficient as he was the rest of the game. He forced it. His receivers didn't help him on either of those plays. But it feels like he's feeling a little bit of pressure. And I actually think with him, instead of him kind of crumbling in it, he will play well, but he'll make a couple of mistakes as he's a little bit more aggressive. So I'm going to go Tua over the 230.5. I also think for the Dolphins, everything that can go wrong always does for them. And the fact that Tua is going to be playing particularly well here while everything else is falling apart,
makes sense.
I think it makes sense. It exactly, because that's the player you're trying to replace, which makes no sense. So I'm going to go 230.5 over with him. I like the Emmanuel Sanders pick a lot. I just think I can see him getting 5 or 6, 7 receptions. He'll get to that 70-yard total pretty easily. Mid-50s to me is easily accessible. Is there anything else on the board today, guys, that jumped out to you?
Braven?
I mean, if we're sticking to the Dolphins, the other pick I would have gone was Gaskin. Probably more on the receiving yards. And again, I don't think the receptions are up on the board. Even the fantasy number, I think, was at 10.5. For a couple of reasons. Like, you've seen that when they actually figure out how to use him, even if it's not as a typical running back, they get production out of him. And like going back to the last Buffalo game, like that's not happening again, right? Like they might get killed, but it's not happening that way. So, if I had a dart throw, it would be Gaskin.
You like Gesicki again? His number to me is still low, right?
I like Gesicki again. I took him again this week.
Where is it? Mid-50s?
Oh, like
mid-40s?
Mid-40s. Hold on, I'll get it 1 second.
Yeah, I think it was 44.5 or 45.5.
45.5.
See, again, this is a question of whether or not you want to bet on the player or bet against the coaching staff, right? Because the player, Mike Gesicki, is a 70-yard per game player if he's used correctly. But if they don't use him correctly, usually until the third or fourth quarter.
Well, look at the log, though. I mean, 4 out of 5, he's been well over that. And the one time it was against Tampa Bay's great defense. He still had 43. Right. So I agree. I think he's just not getting maybe like the love because he's on a 1-6 team. And I think Zach Moss, 12.5 receiving yards. And he's also low, 45.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, I got burned by him though a week ago. It doesn't seem like I don't know who are they playing in what situation.
The problem is running back wise, and that's the thing. Like I even almost picked up Singletary in a league. The problem is like you go based off of what he did last game, you get nothing for that, right? So I don't like messing with their running backs, and that's why when he says Sanders, I could pick out almost any receiver on their team. Like. They want to throw the ball, and they're going to score points. They're not going to be the team that's coming from behind, So.
Right. Yeah, it's tough with Moss. Like I feel like he gets a lot of those goal line carries, but he didn't in the last game. So I don't know. It's a
Josh Allen gets a lot of rushing touchdowns too. So it's
Right. But that's the other thing. And Josh Allen, we didn't even talk about him, but I don't know how to play that because they moved so far ahead.
Everything.
Well, everything. I guess everything. All right, so this has been really depressing. But you can go to PrizePicks.com.
That's my quarterback.
Use the code. Well, I'm playing the quarterback. I'm sorry. I'm riding with the quarterback until he's no longer the quarterback. PrizePicks.com. Use the code 5, FIVE. And again, sign up, deposit. That's how you do it. Throw down $20. They're going to hand you $20. Some of you like to deposit more because you can play more, and we certainly encourage that. So go to PrizePicks.com. We'll be back with some NBA coverage coming up this week. Also, I know Eversol's been hot on the NHL stuff. Maybe we'll throw in an MLB World Series thing if this thing ends up going 6 or 7 games as well. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to David and David. We'll be back this week.